It used to be that the only way to be subjected to continuous observation and modification was to either be in an experiment. You could be in the basement of a psychology building and have students tweaking you for their projects, or you could join a cult. I mean, this has been done before, and often the people who are in these situations do not realize it's happening to them. In fact, the whole point is that it's sneaky. It's a mechanical approach to manipulating people.
The whole world is under mind control. When I say the whole world, I mean the great vast majority of humanity is under mind control. Because what is mind control? Getting you to think and believe what an external force wants you to think and believe, thus dictating how you behave. The whole foundation of this whole conspiracy is control of perception. Because from perception comes behavior. And how do you control perception? You control information that people receive from which they form perception. So in MK Ultra, that was fiercely controlled. Obviously that information to create a perception that led to behavior. But it's of course happening on a mass scale with the media and Silicon Valley with its censorship. They want to dominate and control what people hear and see, thus what they perceive, thus how they behave. You know, I've been saying for decades that the whole kind of basis of this control system is to disconnect five sense mind, five sense reality, what I call body mind, from expanded awareness, from, soul, if you want to call it that. So it's like, imagine someone sitting at a computer and you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the computer, five sense reality, the five sense body mind, that connects you into this reality. You interact with it because you're on the same frequency. And then you've got the operator of the computer who's got the big picture. And those two are supposed to interact. So the idea of the control system is to get in that space between the operator and the computer. This is very much symbolic of how this works, to get control, perceptual control of the of five sense body mind by disconnecting it from the influence, the greater panoramic understanding, insight, knowledge, all of it, of expanded awareness. And once people get isolated in five sense mind only, which is the idea, it's the idea of the education system, what passes for it, of the media, all of it, then it's like you isolate five sense body mind, and then you program it through control of the information it receives, so that it takes on a perception without any greater radar of expanded awareness to give it another fix on what's happening. You just turn it into a like a software program of the belief that suits your reality.
You don't realize it, but you are being programmed.
Do you know when iPhone real recently they started putting that thing on your phone where you see how much screen time you had?
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
You look at it, you're like, what, 5 hours?
9 hours, 46 minutes.
That's 5 hours of nothing.
The founders of the great Silicon Valley spying empires like Facebook have publicly declared that they intentionally included addictive schemes in their designs. It's a statistical addiction. What it says is we will get the broad population to use the services a lot. We'll get them hooked through a scheme of rewards and punishment. And then within that, we'll very gradually start to leverage that to change them. So it's this very kind of stealthy manipulation of the population. So it's not as dramatic as a heroin addict or a gambling addict, but it is the same principle.
It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you as the future leaders of the world to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in.
When you watch the television isn't watching you. When you see the billboard isn't seeing you. And vast numbers of people see the same thing on television and see the same billboard. When you use these new designs, social media, search, YouTube, when you see these things, you're being observed constantly, and algorithms are taking that information and changing what you see next. And they're searching and searching and searching, and they're just blind robots. There's no evil genius here until they find those patterns, those little tricks that get you and make you change your behavior.
It is eroding the core foundations of how people behave by and between each other.
In traditional behaviorism, you would give an animal or a person a little treat like candy or maybe an electric shock, and you'd go back and forth between positive and negative feedback. And when researchers try to determine whether positivity or negativity is more powerful, they're roughly at parity. They're both important. But the difference with social media is that the algorithms that are following you respond very quickly. They're looking for the quick responses. And the negative responses, like getting startled or scared or irritated or angry, tend to rise faster than the positive responses, like building trust or feeling good. Those things rise more slowly. So the algorithms naturally catch the negativity and amplify it and introduce negative people to each other in all of this. And so what this does is it means that the algorithms discover there's more engagement possible, say by promoting ISIS and promoting the Arab Spring. And so ISIS gets more mileage, or promoting than Black Lives Matter. Now, in the big picture, it's not true that negativity is more powerful, but if you're doing this very rapid measurement of human impulses instead of accumulated human behavior, then it's the negativity that gets amplified. So you tend to have elections that are more driven by rancor and abuse, and you tend to have outcomes that are kind of crazy.
Because of their consciousness state, which is a state of inversion, evil, the absence, the inversion of love, they can't be very bright because they can't access expanded states of awareness in that low frequency state that Kathy talks about. The one thing we mustn't do is give these people too much power in the sense of what they are. What they've done, and the only way they could do it, is to put humanity in a smaller box than they're in. You know, they have this this symbol, the single all-seeing eye, right? Right. The single eye, that's actually what they are. We are the two-eyed, third-eyed humans, potentially. They are the single eye. And, you know, for me, the phrase that sums up this situation is, in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So the one-eyed man
that's so true.
Has made humans blind, and that's how it controls. When humans open their eyes and see, then they'll realize that these all-powerful people are not all-powerful at all. They're clever in the sense that they know how to manipulate perception. This is another fundamental reason why they want to control the information that people receive, because basically the brain starts processing information based on the information that it's receiving. And if that information doesn't change, then it goes on processing in the same way. All the neuron pathways, all of them operate in the same way. And you can get people, going back to what I said about isolating people in body, mind, five senses, where they basically are just literally like software programs. They're just processing information in the same way without the ability to break out of that neuro stranglehold and process information in a different way. And when you start to awaken to your true self, expanded levels of awareness, then they come into the information processing game, and they start to change the way, as you perceive a more expanded reality, they start to change the way the brain is processing information, because what it's receiving is changing now. And this is why you can be fast asleep and seeing the world in a certain way, which you're told to see it, how you're told to see it. And then suddenly something else comes in, if you open to it, which can override that program. Expanded states of awareness can override that program. And then suddenly you're seeing the world completely differently because your brain is processing a different kind of information, a more expanded state of information.
I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like, there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this. It is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. And it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads. This is a global problem. And I don't have a good solution. You know, my solution is I just don't use these tools anymore. I haven't for years. It's created huge tension with my friends, huge tensions in my social circles. If you look at, like, you know, my Facebook feed, I've posted maybe 2 times in 7 years. 3 times, 5 times. It's like it's less than 10. And it's weird. I guess I kind of just innately didn't want to get programmed. And so I just tuned it out. But I didn't confront it. And now to see what's happening, it really bums me out.
We've created this bizarre society that's unprecedented where if any 2 people wish to communicate over the internet, the only way that can happen, the only way it's financed is through a third party who believes that those 2 can be manipulated in a sneaky way. It's an insane way to structure civilization. So we can keep all the good stuff, and there is good stuff on social media, of course. We can keep all that and just throw away the manipulation business model and substitute in a different business model. And there are many alternatives that would be better. They just have to be honest. It could be a paid service like a Netflix where you're paying for it, you're the genuine customer, it has to keep your interest. It could be like a public library. It could become a public thing that isn't commercial at all. That's an option. But what we did in Silicon Valley is we wanted it both ways. We wanted everything open and free, but we wanted hero entrepreneurs and hackers. And so the only way to get that was this advertising thing that gradually turned into the manipulation engine as the computers got faster. And this weird business plan, once you can see that there are alternatives, you realize how strange it is and how unsustainable it is. This is the thing we must get rid of. We don't have to get rid of the smartphone. We don't have to get rid of the idea of social media. We just have to get rid of the manipulation machine that's in the background.
So any answer, because, you know, people say, what's the solution? I'm not really bothered about solutions. We're drowning in solutions. They lead to more problems. I'm interested in removing the cause of the problem. Because once you remove the cause of a problem, the problem can no longer exist because it's the reason it exists is gone. And the cause of the problem is this disconnect from body-mind directly experiencing this reality and expanded levels of consciousness, our true big I, that should be interacting with this, that is shut out. So if you're going to remove the cause of the problem, that disconnect must be healed.
Yeah.